Hi guys, hope you're well. This is a difficult one for me to film, but I'm going to do it anyway. So in this video, we're going to investigate why the truck driver that killed vegan activist Regan Russell outside a slaughterhouse in Hamilton, Canada, can't be charged with murder. So a few days ago, it was reported in a local paper in the Hamilton area that the truck driver involved who ran Regan Russell over just outside this slaughterhouse, is being charged with careless driving causing death under Ontario's Highway Traffic Act. But there was no grounds to indicate that this was an intentional act, i.e. he intentionally drove his truck right at her with the intent to kill her. So that would have been murder in anybody's book, or that a criminal offence has been committed. I was confused by this because causing death by careless or inconsiderate driving is very much a criminal offence in the UK. I questioned this in a video that I made a few days ago. Why is this, he's being charged with causing death by careless driving. Well, why is that not a criminal offence? So we're going to discuss that. First of all, I'm going to play you a short clip by Vegan Gaines, who a few days after Regan's death went down to the slaughterhouse and stood with some of the people who were honouring her outside of the slaughterhouse.
So I'm over at the vigil for Regan, and this is the area where she was killed. So what happened was there was an animal transport truck right over there, and Regan was standing over here right in front of this gate. Now, what a lot of activists do is they stand here to block the trucks to give other activists more time to give water to the pigs. And what happened was this truck driver was extremely aggressive, just didn't care about this woman's life, rammed straight into her. And he had an unobstructed view of this woman. There was nothing in the way. I find it hard to believe that this guy didn't notice that this woman was standing right in front of the gate. He came in, hit her right about here, and then her body fell underneath the truck and she was dragged. And she was dragged over to where you can see that where the road curves. So basically about a good 15, 20 feet at least. And the only reason the truck driver stopped was because the security guards were screaming at him to stop. And the other day when she was killed, you could see a trail of blood here. So it was a pretty brutal, gruesome death.
So what Vegan Gaines heard from people who were there at the time and from just visually looking at the scene was that the driver had a good view as he kind of pulled in to the road where Regan was standing. In anybody's book, surely, he knew she was there, therefore he should have stopped. It's proving intent though, isn't it? Did he intend to kill her? And what I'm going to play you now, with kind permission from Grumpy Vegan Grandad, who is a truck driver, I'm going to play you a couple minutes of a clip of him filming himself inside and outside of his truck to show you actually there are so many blind spots at the front and at the sides of a truck. Now obviously the amount of visibility is going to be different based on the size of the truck, the front of the truck. I'm not an expert, Jesus Christ, in any of these things, but this is just an example from Grumpy Vegan Grandad of how careful, people need to be around trucks, because with the best will in the world, if people are standing around the truck, perhaps a driver just can't see you.
Got the phone lens level with my eyes, so I'm looking at the cab from my eye level. So as you can see, there's a car there, a black car, and this is what I can see from my cab. I've got a wide angle mirror there and a mirror there, but I can't see down there. I stand here and the driver can't see me. And if we go to the front, if you look at what I can see at the front where that car is, if I lean up, stand up, just bang my fucking head then, and look right down, you've got all this space that I can't see if anybody was there in front of me. This is where the driver can see me now. And I'm 1-2 meters away from the cab. At least 6 foot. Back again. Sit down in my sitting position. All that space. Just look where I can see on that car, right? Sit up, look how far away that wheel is. Bang my head again. From the front of my vehicle. I mean, there is a mirror there, but you know what I mean? It quite easily misses one. And there's another blind spot behind the mirror there on that front corner. It's very, very limited. Here, nobody can see me. I can have a car there at the side of me, and I would not see it. I would not see it. So I'm not excusing the driver, but I'm just saying that when people are around your vehicle, you need to make extra provisions, because there's a lot of room for people to be, especially down there. You cannot see anybody there, no matter what mirrors you've got. You cannot see that, and there's enough room there for 2 people to stand.
Now, of course, this does not excuse the driver. What it does, though, is it perhaps sets a little bit of context. Perhaps he did drive his truck at her, but carelessly and inconsiderately didn't think that she hadn't moved out of the way. If there were people milling around, perhaps he thought she'd moved out of the way. I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit here because it is possible, but it also brings it home that intent is so very difficult to prove. A murder charge or even a manslaughter charge just would not stick because you just can't prove any intent. I wanted to look at the law in Ontario because how can causing death by careless driving not be considered a criminal offence? In the video that I made a few days ago, I asked people who live in Canada, specifically Ontario, to comment and tell me why this is not a criminal offence. And Vegan Cathy did just that. I'm in Ontario. Basically, he was charged with careless driving causing death under the Highway Traffic Act. And in Canada, this is not considered a criminal offence. He will have a trial, presumably if he pleads not guilty to the charge, which he might plead guilty, therefore he won't have a trial. And the punishment could be $2,000 minimum to $50,000 in fines, up to 2 years in prison or both, and up to 5 years licence suspension and 6 demerit points off his licence. Most feel that he will get off with a slap on the wrist, as this is apparently a first offence. Also, his trucker buddies are raising all kinds of money for him, $77,000 last time I checked, to pay for any fines, legal fees to fight the charges and help him out, since he was going through a hard time. They are blaming the activists for everything, of course. It's sickening, and I'm heartbroken for her family, who are so brave and who are showing up at vigils and rallies to support Regan's cause. I know more than most how difficult it is, and my heart goes out to Regan's family. It's horrible. I can't put into words how horrible it is for somebody to take the life of someone that you love and are close to, and it appears that justice just isn't done, that person's life isn't worth enough, that, you know, a few $1,000s of a fine or a couple of years in jail maximum, they just don't seem enough. Wanting this to be considered murder, I completely understand how Regan's family might feel. And those are maximums. If he pleads guilty, he won't get anywhere near that. But let's carry on. So I went and looked up Ontario's Highway Traffic Act, and here we go. Careless driving causing bodily harm or death, and Vegan Cathy is absolutely right. with the penalties that she stated. Every person is guilty of the offence of driving carelessly who drives a vehicle or streetcar on a highway without due care and attention, without reasonable consideration for the persons using the highway, and therefore causes bodily harm or death to any person. And this is from the 2017 amendment of the Highway Traffic Act. So the penalties there are exactly what Vegan Cathy said. Why is this not a criminal offence if it's got jail time potentially attached to it? Well, look at this. Dangerous driving is a criminal offence. So dangerous driving is a criminal offence under the Criminal Code of Canada, unlike the charge under the Provincial Highway Traffic Act. Right, so the difference is when a person is charged criminally, their photograph and fingerprints are taken and they will have a police file. Dangerous driving is a hybrid offence. If convicted on summary conviction, less serious, the maximum jail time of up to 2 years, less a day. If convicted or indicted more serious, the driver could face up to 10 years. In addition to any punishment the court may order, in licences and so on. So because driving without due care and consideration is a provincial act, it's not considered criminal. What? That is so strange. And right, again, take it from one who knows. Just the fact that somebody could get away with taking away someone who is very close to you and they don't even get a criminal record, it does not seem like justice. But we live in an incredibly, incredibly difficult world, and this is the situation, and all the more reason that vegan activists need to know this information, need to be able to protect themselves around the trucks. Yes, the trucks need to drive with better due care and attention, and I think this situation shows you absolutely why. In the UK, however, things are slightly better. This is from the Crown Prosecution Service. The offence of causing death by careless driving under the Road Traffic Act 1988 is committed, and it is a criminal offence, guys, when the suspect's driving causes death of another person. The definition of this offence stipulates that a person is to be regarded as driving without due care and attention if and only if the way in which he or she drives falls below what would be expected a competent and careful driver. The maximum sentence is 5 years. The maximum prison term is 5 years, and it's considered a serious offence. It's tried in Crown Court. The person does come away with a criminal record that will follow them once they come out of prison, and there's a mandatory minimum period of disqualification of 12 months, and if they go to prison, that 12 months ban only starts when they leave prison. Take it from one who knows, guys. Causing death by careless driving, even if you've got aggravating factors such as failing to stop at the scene and basically denying that you didn't know anything about it, gets nowhere near 5 years. Nowhere near 5 years. It might be, for example, 30 weeks. And if you plead guilty, you get a third off your sentence in the UK. So you're out in 20 weeks. 20 weeks for someone's life. So the only thing left to say is that even though this driver most probably, perhaps, thought she'd moved out of the way carelessly, inconsiderately, but it wasn't murder, the only thing left to say is that we need to honour Regan now. I'm going to close with a clip from Vegan Gains, who attended a march for Regan Russell. It's partly also in protest of Bill 156, which is an ag-gag law that is coming in Canada. And these ag-gag laws are cropping up all around the world, guys. It's becoming increasingly difficult for vegan activists or even those working in farms or slaughterhouses to whistleblow against the horror and the torture and the maltreatment that animals are facing. So what we in the vegan movement need to do is educate ourselves in the political aspects of vegan activism. We need to, of course, be talking about the animals. The animals are central to all of this, but we need to educate ourselves on the policies and the laws, and we need to find ways to fight these laws in effective ways. If that can be achieved in even a small way, we might say Regan's life was an inspirational one, and let's carry on her work.
This march was organized to honor her death and carry on her animal rights message, with the hope to encourage members of Parliament to repeal Bill 156, which is an animal ag-gag law designed to stop animal rights activists from blowing the whistle on animal cruelty occurring on farms and slaughterhouses. After the march, protesters gathered in front of the Legislative Assembly of Ontario in Queen's Park, Toronto, where several speakers, including friends and family of Regan Russell, spoke about Regan, the tragedy of her death, and their frustrations with Bill 156.